Hello everyone, I'm James Davis, and in this podcast I'm going to show you guys how to make an ear build inside of Maya. Okay, so let's get started. First thing that we need to do is bring in an image plane because I don't want to just build a ear out of just my memory of what an ear looks like because it will not look 100% accurate. So I'm going to go into my orthographic views, which if you go and you click on this icon right here, it'll take you into four-pane view mode. Go to view, in your front view, go to image plane, and then import image. Now I'm going to go to my desktop, and inside here I have a place where I stored my ear reference. So whatever ear reference that you use, go to it and open it up. As you can see here, it places it right in the middle of your origin point. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do before I get started is I'm going to move this image back. Because if we look whenever we create a polygon object inside of Maya, it puts it right in the middle. And we're going to have this issue where we start to create the planes of the ear, and it's going to actually fight with our image plane. So let's avoid that by pushing this ear backwards. And you want to pull it back in the opposite direction of the arrows pointing. So pull it from origin backwards. Okay, it doesn't have to go too far. All right, so next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my front view and I am going to create a plane. So I'm going to go to Polygon Primitives, Plane, and I'm going to rotate this plane so it's facing forward. If you're not entirely sure what I'm doing here, let me go into my four-pane view again by pressing spacebar. And I'm essentially just rotating it so it's facing up and down instead of sideways. Now I'm going to go into my channel box, and I'm going to change the rotation where I see numbers being filled in as I'm rotating, and I'm going to make that a perfect 90 degrees. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and scale this out. And afterwards, I'm going to go ahead and make this a live object by clicking on this magnet here at the top. All right, and essentially what I just did is I made this object a object that I, number one, cannot select, and also an object where I'm able to use quad draw on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to quad draw menu, and then I'm going to go to down to quad draw and click it. All right, so let me go into my front view, press 4, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to trace around this ear. All right, and pretty much how quad draw works is if you put down 4 points. Oh, looks like I have symmetry turned on. So I'm going to go to my tool settings, which is the 4th tab at the top right. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to press, let's see here, W. Actually, let me get out of my tool, go to symmetry settings, and I'm going to turn off my symmetry. So I just switched to my regular select tool, and I'm going to go to symmetry and just turn off symmetry. All right, so if you have symmetry on, and well, if you're not sure if you have symmetry on and you start to use quad draw and it creates 2 points, that means you have symmetry. Go to your tool settings, to your select tool, and go down symmetry settings and turn off symmetry. Okay, so let's go, without further ado, let's go back to quad draw, and now let's continue drawing. Well, this is a good point to show you how to delete points. So if there's a point that you do not want, hold down Control and Shift, and then click on that point to get rid of it. All right, and at the same time, if you want to move a point around, just regular left click, drag that point that you currently have. Anyways, going back to where I was, what I was doing, I'm going to create 4 points. And from those 4 points, if you hold down Shift in the middle of them, it will fill in the face when you click. So hold down Shift, click in between those 4 points, and it creates a face. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around. Now I only have to click 2 points, or create 2 points, because these verts count as points now. Hold down Shift, and it creates a face in the middle when I click. All right, so 2 points, Shift, 2 points, Shift. And I'm going to go all the way around with that. And right here you see there's a little too much of a gap there, and I'm not exactly getting my shape. I'm going to hold down Control to add a edge loop in here whenever I hit left click. Okay, so once again, hold down Control and click to create an edge loop. All right, and for some reason, whenever I move, it moves everything, all my verts. And if I hover over my quad draw object, you can see that all the verts are highlighted. What's going on right now is that I have soft select turned on. At some point, I must have accidentally hit B as in boy. Now to turn that off, all you need to do is hit B again, and it turns it off. Okay, so B as in boy to toggle soft select on and off, which is pretty much something that I believe you learned in MCR, but it's not a bad thing to just rehash some information. All right, so I'm going to hold down Control, click, and go ahead and insert there. And pretty much I can insert edge loops here and here and here, but that would take too long. I'm just going to go ahead and create all these points, and then I'll go back and insert edge loops once I'm done. All right, so I'm going to go in here and just continue following this all the way around. And as you can see, I'm not going to the lobe just yet, because I'm going to do something special for that. Okay, let me go around here. And there we go. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just trace around this area a little bit. Add one here. If we look closely, you can see that it kind of dips in. So creating this face right here, I essentially will eventually have this go all the way around the ear. But I'm going to actually do that a little bit later using an extrusion to make my life a little bit easier. So I'm just going to fill in this area for right now. Okay? So after I filled in that area, let me continue by inserting edge loops where I need them. Hold down Control, click. I'm going to move these in, move these out, spread them out a little bit. Okay. And when I got it about where I like it, now I'm going to go ahead and have this go inwards. Okay. Once we got that shape taken care of, let's press Q, go to object mode, and deselect. Okay, so I got that deselected. Next thing I'm going to do is go back to Quad Draw while it's deselected. So open up your modeling toolkit icon or option box here. Go down to Quad Draw, click it again without your original Quad Draw mesh selected, and allows us to continue and create more points. Okay, so you can see where I'm going with this. I am now going to go around this detail right here. Now, what I can tell here, though, it's a little different where it looks like we have two paths and then a little bit of a surface here that divots in. Okay, so with edge flow, you should go around areas like this, areas of detail, which, so it can flow around the detail essentially, hence the name. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and create edge flow that goes all the way around. Okay, and then hold down Shift and click all the way around here. And hold down Control and add edge loops as you need them. Okay. So this requires me to go all the way inside, but I am not going to worry about that just yet. I'm going to now go ahead and continue this path here. Hold down Control when you need to readjust. And I'm going to follow this path all the way down here. And as I'm doing this, I want to sort of line up my edge flow with the outer edges that I'm working with on the outer part of the ear. Sometimes it won't work perfectly as I want it to, but for the most part, like for instance, like right here, it looks like I'm sort of missing, there's sort of a gap here and here. So I would go back, select this object, and go to my quad draw, modeling tool kit quad draw, and go ahead and add a couple more edges inside of here, just to try to match these up. Now I can do that after I'm completely done, and then that would be perfectly fine too. Okay, cool. Actually, let's make this a little easier to see by turning off my grids. It's all these black lines that we see, and so I'm going to go to Display. At the top left, hit Grid, turns it off. Now the only grids that I see is from our plane that we created and made into a live surface. Those are fine. At least those are a different color so we don't get confused. Alright, so makes it a little easier to see my detail. So this is going to go over here. So let me go back to Quad Draw. And looks like this will connect over here, so I'm going to leave that as is. Let me take a look here. This to there. Oop. Yep, this will go into that one a little bit later. And then, so I'm up to this point. I'm going to actually work my way inwards. All right, so I'm going to make it almost as if it was an extrusion. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and have a ridge that goes all the way around on the inside. Just like if this was a flat face and I just extruded it inwards. All right, now at this point, I'm going to create points in the center and then just split it. So now we have that shape right there. And I'm also going to go in here and start to split up all this detail here. Let me go through. Looks like we hit sort of a conundrum here where it starts to round off the shape. So that's perfectly fine. We're going to handle that as we get to it. Try to be a little clever and see what we can do about it. Do about that situation. But first, let's go ahead and go around here, fill these in, and make it an issue when we get to it. All right, so let's go all the way around here. All right, let's plug these in. All right, looks like I'll need another edge loop going through here. All right, that works. I'm going to go ahead and add a point right here. Okay, so from here I can extrude these backwards. And because I have an extra point here, I could just delete this vert, but just want to let you know that the reason why I created that vert here is because if I hold down shift, I can't just create a triangle. Okay, so it's pretty much telling me you need a quad there. So for now, I'm just going to put a quad just to appease quad draw, but later on I'm planning on deleting that vert to make it into a triangle. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our edge loops here. Let's just count them. So it looks like these all match up for the most part here, and then it looks like it starts to become a little bit of a pain as I get to these areas. But I'm going to be a little bit clever when I reach those areas, so I'm not going to worry about it just yet. So let me take a look here all the way around. Before I move on, I just want to make sure all these match up. So it looks like I'm missing one here. So, yep, let me go ahead and do that. Okay, let me insert an edge loop here. And as you can see, I'm inserting an edge loop instead of quad drawing because, you know, I don't want to keep going to the quad draw menu when all I wanted to do is insert that one. And I'm going to select both these pieces. But first, actually, never mind about the selection. Let me actually pull both these pieces forward, okay? Just a little bit off the surface. And now what I'm going to do is turn on wireframe on shaded mode so I can see it. And I'm going to pull this forward as well. All right, and then I'm going to go to edge mode, select all these edges going around, and I'm going to, whoops, turn off making this a live object. So now I'm able to pull this back without it snapping. All right. So this pulls back like so. Okay. And these areas right here, I'm going to pull those back slightly as well. This part, let me pull it forward. Just to round out this shape a little bit. Okay. Cool. All right, now this part, I'm going to select these faces here, and I'm going to pull this back. I'm going to select these edges, and I'm going to pull these back to have that divot there. Let me actually hide this for now to have that divot there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and select these faces around and these faces as well. And I'm going to go through here and select all these faces here. And I'm going to go ahead and press B, hold down B and left click drag it down. I'm holding down B and left click dragging to the left. So you can see that it increases and decreases the fall off radius. And I'm going to go ahead and pull these forward. And this part, I'm going to go ahead and select these faces here. And I'm going to take those down, pull these back. Pretty much holding down B to increase and decrease as I left click drag, holding down B, the radius of my soft select. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and select this outer barrier here. And I'm just going to pull this in just slightly. Okay, and I'm also going to take this part down here, and as we can see here, it's going in a little bit. I'm going to take this part and I'm going to just actually take the end of it, hold down B, increase my radius so it's just barely highlighting that area, and I'm going to pull this in just a little bit. Okay, let me actually pull these in just a smidge themselves, and pull these in slightly, and that looks good. And these parts at the end here, I'm selecting the edges. I'm going to press B, and I'm going to move these in as well. Now that's a little too much. Hold down B, left click drag to the left. Just going to highlight a little bit, and you can see that it sort of tapers as we pull in, rounds out, and that's what I'm wanting right there. A little bit of a taper. All right, cool. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and extrude out the back side here on the tip of the ear, get the other side and reconnect it to this point here. So let me go ahead and go all the way around. But actually first, let me fix the lobe before I get to that part. So I'm going to extrude this, bring it down, you go to vertex mode. So I extruded the edges, creating the lobe of the ear, like that. And now I'm going to go ahead and extrude this from the lobe, the bottom of the lobe. And of course it took it the shortest distance to get where it needs to go. So you know what, I'm going to select this edge, shift double click this one, then shift double click this one, okay, to get all the way to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude. I'm going to extrude this inwards, and I'm going to scale it outwards by click dragging the green arrow here. Let me pull it back in a little. It's a little too thick. All right, so there you go. And what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to go into vertex mode. Selecting these two vertices, I'm going to hold down shift, right click, merge vertices to center, snap them together. And now the inside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these inside faces here. Well, maybe not all of them. Let me deselect areas inside of here for now. And let's see down here. So I'm looking here. I'm going to stop about here. Deselect that. So pretty much I'm trying to follow this line all the way around, and it stops about here. So I am too. Okay, so I'm going to extrude from here. Let's extrude. Shift right click, extrude. Pull this in just a smidge. Extrude this again. Press R to go into scale mode. And I'm going to scale this outwards and pull it in just slightly, like this. Okay, and I'm going to extrude it again and extrude it inwards like this. All right, so at this point what I'm going to do is hold down V and snap it to these points. Hold down V and snap the verts. All right, so we're going to get to the situation in a bit, but right now I just want to go ahead and finish. and this one. Go ahead and connect that there, and connect these guys over here. Hold down V, connect them. And now what I'm going to do is some areas I'm going to go ahead and pull back just a bit. Like this area, if I'm taking a look here on this ear, it doesn't dip that far in, so I'm just going to pull it back. Same thing for this guy, and I'm just going to pull some of these back. Starts to get a little less prominent as we get to the end, and it starts to meld back into the inside part of the ear. Okay. Cool. All right. So we got that. We're going to now extrude this part of the ear. Actually, go ahead and start fusing these areas together. So I'm going to extrude these parts in. Extrude again. Actually, you know what? Not going to extrude it again. I'm going to snap these together first to these endpoints, and I'm going to go into here and insert edge loops here and here. So I'm going to go ahead and snap the verts of these guys to them. Okay, so none of them are merged just yet. They will be in the end, but right now I'm just trying to get them connected, get them shaped. Okay, so here I'm just going to go ahead and pull this shape down, spread it out a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to connect this here by selecting this edge here, extruding this, connecting it over here and over here, but I'm going to insert a couple edge loops here and here, and when I do merge this, they will connect together. Okay, actually let me go ahead and merge what I got right now. So I'm going to select the outer part of the ear, go to Edit Mesh, Merge, Options. I'm going to set it relatively low to like 0.001, just large enough of a number where it'll merge the verts that are close or right on top of each other, but not really merge verts that I don't want to merge together. Okay, like this vert and this vert. So let's go ahead and merge. Let's test it. Yep, looks like it's working just fine. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. We're going to go in here, and I am going to have this go back in. So let's pull this up, and let's pull this in. And this is actually going to dip in to the ear now. Okay, but first let's go ahead and fix this issue that's going on here, where this has no place to really go. So as it gets in here, we don't really see it all too much. So what I'm going to do here is just be a little crafty, and I'm going to end this into triangles here. I know we're trying to mitigate how many triangles that you use, but this area of the ear doesn't really deform that much, so I'm not going to worry too much if it comes to a point right there or not. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and insert an edge loop through here, and here's a little tip. Oh, after I deselect, let me try that again. I'm going to actually, no. It's not letting me. Let's hold down Shift. There it goes. Hold down Shift and click. If you do that, it'll round out your shape as whenever you insert your edge loop. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go ahead and connect these together. Cool. So I'm turning back around here, and I'm going to select these guys, And yeah, so he's turning around, and I'm going to extrude these faces this way, and I'm going to extrude. Let's go ahead and make sure as we're doing it, we're going to scale, because if we take a look here, it starts to get closer and closer to this ridge, or it starts to fuse back together as it gets to the end. So I'm going to extrude, pull it, scale it, and then scale it this way a little bit, and then pull it forward. All right, so let's go ahead and match up while we're here. So looks like we're missing an area right here. So let's actually do something about that. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over, have this connect to him instead. Okay, and then this guy will be over here, and we're just going to move things down a little bit. Okay, no harm, no foul. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. I'm going to bring this down. So this part dips in, this part comes back out. So I'm going to continue that, extrude, scale, bring over, match it up, extrude, match it up, bring this up, match it up. All right, let's actually bring all these guys back a little bit. All right. Now let's go ahead and finish these. So I'm going to select the object in object mode, shift, right click, append to polygon tool, and I'm going to select one adjacent edge, and then select the edge on the opposite end, and press enter. So whenever you have a hole like this, shift right click, append to polygon tool, click on one edge, and then just click on the edge parallel to it, press enter, and it will connect them both. Hit delete to go back if you mess up. Click it, press enter. I'm going to press G, click it, click the other, press enter. Okay, so now we're creating that edge that goes around. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue going around this ear. I'm going to actually tuck it in. Let's extrude. Scale. I'm going to rotate it this time just to get the angle the way I want it. And I pretty much just want the angle to be at the same angle as the edge. Let's bring this forward. Bring this forward as well. And let me go ahead and snap these together. Okay, and then same thing for these guys. Snap it, snap. Okay, let me actually go all the way around and just finish this up. Snap them all. All right, cool. And let me extrude this out. Scale it. Rotate. I'm going to scale it out a little bit. select these verts, shift, right click, merge vertices to center, just get merged together. And at this point, I'm just going to select the entire thing, minus this part. I'm going to select this outer part. I'm going to go to edit mesh, and then merge, just to merge the verts again. All right, now we're working our way inwards. All right, so we got this part, which is this piece and this piece going all the way around. And you know what? We got all these pieces pretty much connected together. There are some areas like this one where I forgot to delete the vert, but for the most part they're all snapped. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select it, both pieces, go to mesh, combine, then edit mesh, merge, to just merge the parts together. Okay, so now it's all a single piece now. Cool, so we're going to go ahead and move on, and I'm just taking a look at where I am currently. So this part is this piece right here. So I'm trying to work to get this canal going. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's, looks like I didn't merge these parts together. Shift right click, merge vertices to center. And I am actually going to go in here and connect this into here, just to finish this path. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to merge these points, bring it in to here. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Let me take these points, and I am going to go in here and use append to polygon tool, shift right click, append to polygon, and let's see what that does for us. Okay. That kind of works. I feel that more could be done, but I think this will work for what we're trying to accomplish. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust that. All right, I think that looks good enough. All right, it's going into the geometry like I'm wanting. If I wish to, I could push this up a little bit more up here to go in. And yeah, so, but this looks fine for now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select these edges right here, and I'm going to extrude this inwards. All right, so scale, bring it in, and I'm going to go ahead and push it back. All right. So for areas like right here, I'm going to go ahead and merge these verts together. And this area, I'm actually going to go in here and bring this part down a little bit. Going to tuck this in. And actually, I'm going to delete that edge, and I'm going to use that edge over here. And these edges right here that I removed, I'm actually going to bring them back and use them for over here, just to round out this shape a little bit more. Okay, cool. All right, so we got that shape going, and right here we got that shape and this shape. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to extrude these faces inwards a little bit more. Oh, let me select all these edges, and I'm going to extrude it again. Let me go into my side view here. Front view, sorry. Going to scale it and pretty much just create this canal. And I'm going to go ahead and shape everything to match up to the canal as best as possible. Okay, and I am going to adjust it. This is just to get the initial shape in there. Remember, I can just add, insert edge loops as I need them to create the shape. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and insert edge loops. And with these edge loops, what I'm going to do is for specific areas, I'm going to pull in more than others. So for instance, areas like inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and pull these areas in just a wee bit more. So let me select the outer edges on the inside, bring those in. Okay. And these right here, I'm going to actually bring these down and tuck them in a little bit more. Okay. And these areas over here, I'm going to create a slight bowl shape over here. All right. Cool. And up here, it's looking a little bit busy. So I'm going to insert another edge loop over here. And these guys, I'm going to go ahead and merge them down. It's all the way up here. I'm going to merge that down. Just consolidate some of this. There we go. And as for this ear canal, I'm going to push it in some more. And I'm going to extrude this inwards. Okay, and I'm going to angle it inwards because it pretty much angles into your body. Oh, actually, let me see, going opposite way here. There it is. Cool. All right, so I'm just going to bring this in. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and work on the outside a little bit. Now that we got the inside, we're going to work on the outside. Now, keep in mind that some of these insides can be modified a little bit more. What you got is, what you finished with is not necessarily, finished, unless you want it to be. I mean, go out here, pull out the ear, a little bit more, adjust things like that. And what I don't want you guys to do while you're watching me do this is tweak it exactly how much I tweak it, because I don't want you guys to make exactly the same ear I'm making. Just follow how I'm doing things, how I'm making the edge flowing around the details, stuff like that. Okay, we're not looking for you guys to have vert by vert, edge by edge. If I match mine up to yours right on top of one another, that they match, we're not looking for that. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to select edge loops all the way around. Actually, from here all the way around. Actually, let me go ahead and extrude this Let's do extrude this first. Let's shift right click, merge vertices, target weld tool. So I selected this vert, shift right click, actually let me do it again. Select the vert, shift right click, merge vertices, target weld tool, left click, drag this vert up into that one. I'm going to merge this one down to this one to create this the closed off shape. And I'm going to go ahead and select edge loops going all the way around, excluding this part, this section right here. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude this out. Actually, extrude this in and then out. All right. So some like this. And let me actually pull this forward a little bit. Okay. I'm going to merge these together. Okay. Actually, you know what? I don't think I will merge those together. Let me pull these faces up and out, following this shape. And actually, let me go into my front view and copy this shape. Okay, there. All right, so this part is going to be the back side of the ear. I suggest maybe looking up for back sides of the ear to compare it to and stuff like that. Don't just look at what I'm doing. Okay, so also don't forget back of your ear. You can use that as reference as well. Take a selfie or just feel back there. And so this back part, I'm gonna press pull this back, pull this in, should I say? Okay, let's pull this in. Let's bring these up. And yes, this is looking a little angled, but don't worry. That area we can adjust as we're creating this. All right, so let's actually round this out a little bit more. Right, let's bring this down. Cool. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and insert edge loop tool here. And remember what I said earlier, if you hold down shift while you insert, it'll round the shape out. All right, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and pull this in, create the back of the ear. All right. And over here, bring this out. Let me insert, hold down shift, And these areas, I'm just going to offset this a little bit. It's looking a little too sharp. Bring this in, scale it in a little bit. There we go. Going to readjust it. Just little micro changes here and there. All right. Cool. Now I'm going to go ahead, get in here, and let me insert some edge loops through here. All right. Going to append a polygon tool here to here. Connect that. And let's see here. So let's go ahead and actually let me see about how to connect this here. Nope, that doesn't look too good. All right. I do want to connect this over to this side here, but I'm just trying to decide on the best way to do it. All right, so I do like the shape that I'm getting here, so I am going to definitely keep that. But this part right here, I'm going to move it in a little bit. Probably going to add another edge loop. I'm not 100% sure. Let's do that again. Append a polygon tool here, then here. Let's pull this down. Going to insert again. And I'm going to connect here to here. Okay. All right. So that's that. I'm going to go ahead and mesh these guys together. I'm going to extrude these edges outwards. And this is going to pretty much be the part where it fuses back into the body. All right, so let me go ahead and select the vert here and snap it. And as for these guys right up here, I'm going to have it go fuse back into the face here. Let's select these verts, and I'm going to snap them. And then I'm just going to taper little by little. Okay. Cool. All right. So honestly, I am not a big fan of what's going on here. This should actually angle more downwards because this part pretty much is what's going on behind everything. So let's, this area right here, let's delete that and instead have this be the part that connects back into the face. Okay. Going to insert edge loop here and here, merge these together, selecting these verts, edit mesh, merge. It's not enough, so you can increase the threshold until it does snap by left click dragging distance threshold. And this part can connect back into the face. Okay, this part you can just readjust as you need to. these parts, pull that back in. And this is essentially the back part of the ear. So your ear is kind of at an angle going outwards. So this area, I'm going to rotate it and then pull it out. Okay, just like that. All right, pull this in, and there's the back of the ear. And if you need more room, then you just insert. But as for this area on the back, I really don't need all these edges, so I'm just going to merge this edge together. So shift right click, merge collapse edges, merge edges together. It's almost like just merging verts. Okay, and I am going to do that for all the edges down here. Hold down shift and then double click the edge right next to it. Goes all the way down the line, at least if everything is merged properly. So I'm going to select this whole thing again, edit mesh, merge. All right, now I'm going to select this edge, shift double click. You see it goes all the way around. And I'm going to do shift right click, merge collapse edges, collapse edge. And it merges all that down as well. All right. So this area, I'm actually instead going to merge this to this point. So shift right click, merge vertices, target weld, or go to mesh tools, target weld, left click drag this down, left click drag this down. So I'm going to go ahead and round this shape out. Okay, and this would be the back of the earlobe. All right, so let's go ahead, take a look at this. It's looking really rigid, but let's select it, shift right click, soften harden edge, soften edge, and there you go. Got our ear. Press 3. You can see what it looks like in smooth mode. All right, so this is just the basics of how to create the shape of an ear. I mean, you can go in here and add more edge loops, pull back edges as you need to create details, but this is pretty much how to get the edge flow and shape of the ear for your character. So when creating it inside of Maya. So I can go inside here, pull this back a little bit more, go back to 3 mode, and see how that works. Works pretty good, and over here, I'm going to go ahead, pull these shapes out. And these areas right here, I'm going to select the faces and pull these back. And I'll rotate it just a smidge. All right, and just make them a little bit more prominent. All right. So, like I said, there's a lot of adjusting to do here, but you can see how we got all the edge flow for these shapes. It's pretty much at this point just going in here and pulling them as you need them. All right, thank you for watching this demonstration. If you have any questions, please consult your instructors and or tutors for more information on how to create this, or watch the tutorial video a second time. It's not there's nothing wrong with revisiting to get more information, and watching and doing a second time will just help improve your skills. All right, take care. Thank you.